Welcome back. It's the end of day 2 at the DIA European Medical Information Communications Conference. I think we're exhausted because it's been an incredibly packed programme. It's just been so full on, and it's finished quite late as well. But we've had today an incredible day. There's been 3 brilliant sessions, and we've got lots to talk about. So, Anne, let's just focus on session 1 first. That was the regulations. We had 2 lawyers and a regulator for free,
We did.
which Janet Davis kept emphasising. So what did you get out of the session this morning?
Pfizer, the first session, their initiative to raise awareness of medical information.
Yeah.
Great. Loads of ideas, so many now I can't remember all of them, I need to go back to my notes. But it begs the question for me is, why don't we do the obvious things? Why don't medical information departments put their medical information websites on the EMC? All their other contact details are there.
Yeah.
Just started a lot of thoughts. I don't know what you feel about that, or your thoughts on that.
Well, the EMC is obviously just the UK and there's FAS in Sweden, but we heard from the regulator Juan Garcia Burgos, and he was saying that he wants a lot more information to get out to patients in particular, and I think he was really encouraging us as medical information departments to almost give full disclosure.
That's right.
And I was still thinking, does he really know? So could we use our standard response documents with patients? The right patients, of course. So that was
He
quite
did qualify
interesting.
that a little bit in terms
did.
of safety information,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it certainly was putting a little bit of a thought out there that it was pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, and he was telling us about his portal as well, wasn't
Yes,
it?
that's
His, the EMA
the EMA's portal. That sounded really interesting. I think it's going to be a couple of years away at least.
Yes.
A massive project, multilingual,
Yeah.
one-stop shop for information on drugs.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
But he also acknowledges that the EMA website as it stands
Yeah.
needs to be simplified,
Yeah.
made better for patients and
Yeah.
consumers, doctors to access the
Yeah.
information.
And I don't know if you noticed, he had a little logo at the bottom telling it was 20 years now of the EMA, and I think, wow, we've come a long way if you think about it, 20 years.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was obviously about regulations and the Pfizer situation, and we had an excellent presentation by a lawyer from Bristow's
That's right.
on safe harbour
Yes.
and what's
Mark,
happened.
wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, what's happened around the cat amongst the pigeons with the European Court of Justice ruling, and all of us thinking, where does that leave us? And he's like, his advice was, don't panic. Don't panic.
Don't panic, but watch this space.
Yeah.
So it's very much, and I think that's something that we ought to reflect on
Yes.
over the next
Yeah.
few months as well.
And see what we take of that. Okay, so then we had a session later on was about sort of digital initiatives, and
Yes.
from what I can remember, we had Stephanie Pinas from Pfizer, her presentation about all the different things that they're doing about, as you say, about raising digital awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, she was saying at the moment Pfizer have 1 million inquiries a year, but they're noticing it's dropping. But everybody else kind of said that their inquiries are going up. So it's quite unusual. So they're different to the trend. But their ambition is actually to have 2 million inquiries per year by the end of, I think, was it next year or 2017?
Yeah.
So they really want to get their digital initiatives out and advertise about their websites and different ways that people can contact MedInfo, and driving traffic from patients and healthcare professionals.
Yes. Yeah.
So she had masses of information there that in fact anybody could take away and act on.
Yes.
So
And I don't think I can assimilate any more from that at the moment.
No.
I think there's just a huge amount to think about.
yeah,
Definitely.
Great. And in terms of the digital initiatives, we also had, well, in the last session is more short, snappy presentations. Again, we had somebody from Pfizer.
Yes.
From
Pfizer's
Pfizer
very
India.
active.
Yeah, and she was talking about smart labels, and that was really interesting.
That was very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. An app that tells patients about everything that they need to about how to take their product, all the labelling information, all in one place, and then they can click for further disease awareness information as an aid to doctors, all driven by either a barcode or a product code.
Yeah, or
Inspires.
passcode, yeah, wasn't it? So it
Yeah.
was very, very good. In the last session, there was a lot about how MedInfo departments can raise awareness, but one of the other things that are at raising awareness and value was Philip from Baxter. He was talking about analytics and how they're using that, how they can create all these analytics and reports automatically. He said it saved them, each report took them 30 hours, and now it's just done like that for them automatically by the system that he uses. But they're using that then to have these meetings, cross-functional meetings, and have equal stakeholders, conversations with their commercial marketing colleagues around how they can bring customer insights in. So that was really
and they
interesting.
have identified areas from that which made a company-wide change because of it.
Yeah.
So it's obviously beneficial to both medical information and the wider company.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
There were so many take-home messages from the conference. Really, if you weren't there, I'm really sorry because you missed a lot, but there were some really key things. I think we're going to think about it, and in the next newsletter, we'll put a few words of wisdom, or we'll make another video. So,
Hopefully not.
yeah. And anything else that came out, I think for you, as you were saying, there's loads around comments around standard responses. Standard responses were
definitely.
Yeah.
There is so much that could be done.
Exactly.
So much we can help you with on that.
So we're going to say goodbye, and we're all going to go home and collapse in a heap. But fantastic meeting, and we'll be back next year, and hopefully I'm going to go to the US next year. But lots to learn, and we'll put it more in the next newsletter. Bye.
Hello, my name is Kristina Bundra, and I'm a postdoctoral fellow through the Rutgers University Fellowship Program, and I'm currently doing my fellowship at Bristol Myers Squibb. I'm here at the Euro DIA meeting and presenting my poster on the analysis of medical information standard response structure across global pharmaceutical companies. And I did this research project as a collaboration with both Rutgers University as well as Bristol Myers Squibb. So my co-authors are also listed here on the poster. So what we wanted to do with this research project was really to begin understanding what medical information standard responses look like across different companies as well as different countries. So the first part of this research project looked at US specific standard responses, and that was presented back in March of 2015 at the other DIA meeting. And that's also listed, some of the research is also provided here in this poster as well. And then with this research, we're actually comparing that to the European standard response structure. And the purpose of that is to really begin establishing some of the best practices for standard response structure across the industry as well as across the different countries. So looking at some of the questions that were asked in the survey, we're really focusing around not only the length of the standard responses, but some of the attributes that go into the different medical information letters. So looking at specifically the safety information as well as the approved indications. Another question that we looked at was really, do companies also always provide cover letters with their medical information standard responses? And are these customized or more of a general template for the specific question? So looking at some of the results that we found with this research, some of the differences between both the US and the European countries, some of the differences were looking at specifically like the location of the safety information. So here we see that although both the US and Europe provide safety information primarily as a direct lift in the standard response package, there's actually a pretty big difference in terms of the magnitude of that effect, and that it's seen more commonly in European countries. Another area that was different between the two countries, or the two areas, were the location of the approved indications in a response package. And primarily, in the US responses, we're finding that they're including this as a direct lift on the cover page, whereas in Europe, or European countries, they're providing it as a direct lift in the standard response package. Now, a couple areas of consistency with the US and with both the US and the European countries are in terms of the length of the responses. We're finding that there's more of a shift in keeping the responses to less than 5 pages. So we can see here they're primarily in both the 1 to 2 page and 3 to 5 page region. Although there are some in the US that are over 10 pages. So again, that's slightly a longer category. Another area where there's consistency between both the US and the European countries are around relevant sections that are contained in the cover letter. And as you can see, they're somewhat comparable across. However, we do see that in the US, they are using the hyperlink to the product label more often than what's used in Europe. So those were the general findings from this research project, and we're really looking to begin incorporating this into more of a general guidance and best practices for standard response structure, and look to constantly improve the structure of our standard responses to communicate relevant information to our customers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.